Hello and welcome to Christmas Crafts 365. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make 3 different ornaments using scrapbook paper. For the first ornament I'm going to be using my Fiskars paper cutter to cut a 4x4 inch square piece of paper, and of course you can adjust these sizes to any size that you like. You can also of course pick whatever color paper that you enjoy as well. You then want to turn your paper on the side so it looks like a diamond and roughly find the center of your piece of paper and put a mark in the middle so that you know where the center is. You then want to fold the sides of the paper so that those little tips are touching the center point that you just found. And by the way, this is going to be an envelope. We're just making a little envelope ornament. I wanted to fold up the bottom tip of that triangle and then fold up the rest so that it does look like a nice finished envelope. Now you don't want to end up gluing everything down completely shut. We are going to put something inside the envelope, so I just glued down that little tiny corner and then I put a little bit of glue on the edges. Now I'm using hot glue, but of course you can use a regular glue stick. I just happen to have hot glue available. And as you can see, there's still plenty of room for me to put in my decorations. I'm using my jute just to add a little decoration to the front, and I'm going to be tying a little bow and gluing that to the middle right where the opening of the envelope is. Bringing in my large collection of buttons, I picked out this cute little reindeer button that I have and also glued that to the center of the bow just to make it extra cute. Now using the jute, I'm going to just be tying a simple knot in order to hang it on the tree. I'm then going to glue it on the back of the envelope at the very top so that this is the hanger for the ornament. To decorate the inside, I'm taking these greenery stems and I'm going to measure how long I want them to be by placing them aside and bending them. I'm going to be cutting 3 of the same length. After cutting all 3 of them out, I'm going to put them inside the envelope just to measure them to see if I like how tall they are. And I decided that I wanted the 2 on the sides to be just a little bit shorter because they all looked just too straight across the top. So I just trimmed off a tiny bit off the bottom of each of those just to give some different height variance inside of the envelope. I used hot glue to put a little bit of glue on the back of each of the greenery stems and then place them where I wanted them to go inside of the envelope. I have actually made quite a few of these before in the past and sold them at my craft show, but this one's just going to be for me. I thought it was a good ornament to share with you, so I wanted to bring it back and make some more. Now using these sparkly berries, I'm just going to take 1 sprig and pull off 3 of them and twist them all together, lining them all up and taking them all together to twist them so that they become one piece. I also don't want any of those pokey ends to stab through the paper, so I cut those off and I glued those inside right in front of the greenery stems just to add a little pop of color. And here's the final ornament. This one is definitely my favorite out of the 3 that I'm doing. Don't forget to tell me which one is your favorite at the end of the video down in the comments. Here's also a picture of it hanging on my Christmas tree, so I really think this one is very pretty. Now for the second one, if you love hearts, this is a perfect ornament for you. You need 2 pieces of paper and you're going to be cutting out 4 strips of paper 1 inch wide for each one. So 4 strips at 1 inch wide a piece. All of these strips are also 12 inches long to start, but I'm going to be taking these 2 burgundy ones and cutting off 2 inches at the bottom, so these will end up being 10 inches long. You'll have 2 strips at 12 inches and 2 strips at 10 inches. Now this is optional, but I wanted to add a little sparkly dangly piece to the bottom of this ornament, so I have all these sparkly beads and I'm just stringing them on a red string that's also going to act as the hanger for the ornament. And you can do whatever pattern you want, whatever colors, and like I said, this is optional, so I'm just going to tie the end here so they do not fall off. In order to have the dangly piece, I'm going to take my 2 longest strips, so these are going to be your 2 longest strips of paper, and I'm going to be attaching it to the colorful side of the piece of paper so it hangs down from the bottom. And again, I'm using hot glue, but if you'd like to use regular Elmer's glue, that would work fine too. Now you're going to be gluing the two longest strips together so that they're facing one another. You're actually just going to see the outside of the paper to start with. You're then going to layer the other papers on top as well, one on the bottom and one on the top, showing again the outside of the paper. So you're going to just see the white parts for now. After attaching all the pieces, I'm going to put a little bit of glue at the bottom and fold over my burgundy one. And these burgundy ones, these are the shorter strips. So these are the 10-inch strips. And here's my second piece on the other side, and you can see it's starting to make a heart shape. I'm going to repeat the same process for the longer strips. The 12-inch strips are going to be glued down to the outside of these burgundy ones. Now here was my mistake for this ornament. I should have doubled back the string so that it could hang, but I didn't think to do that until the end, so I realized I need to cut the string, and then I just used hot glue and glued it down into the middle, and it worked out just fine. So if you make a simple mistake like this, it's really easy to fix. And basically here is the finished ornament. Now I really do like this one. I think it could also be a really pretty Valentine's Day craft, or if you want to hang it like a garland, I think that would be pretty too. I do like the color. I wish I had double-sided scrapbook paper so there's more color on the inside, but I do think it's very pretty on the tree. So here's a picture of it on my tree. Now for this last one, I'm going to tell you how I made it, but I also for this one made a couple of little mistakes because I'm actually kind of teaching myself how to do this one as well as I went along. I've seen this ornament a ton on the computer and I wanted to try to give it a shot, so like I said, I'm kind of teaching myself. So as you can see, I traced a circle, cut it out, and then I folded it, and you can see there's mistake number one. I folded it incorrectly because if you're using a pattern, you want the pattern to run vertically. You don't want it to run diagonally or horizontally or weird. So I was not able to use that first circle. I'm just using it as a template. So I folded all my paper over and just use it as a template. You need 10 of each version of your circle. So you're going to end up having 20 circles in the end. Now what you're going to do is glue them each on top of one another in a pattern. So I did a red one, then a zigzag one, a red one, then a zigzag one, a red one, then a zigzag one, until I had finished the entire stack. And you can see it makes a pretty thick piece of paper, and it's also a really pretty design on the inside. Now this one does take a while to make because you have to wait for it to dry. Also, I've been very sick, so I was actually had plenty of time for this to dry because I was too sick to work on it. Now this is where I started to make my first mistake, and it's quite noticeable whenever I get finished, but you need to put glue at the bottom, then the top. And that's where I made the mistake. I accidentally didn't do the correct pattern. So you need to do the bottom, then the top, the bottom, then the top, the bottom, then the top as you flip through. And I accidentally did 2 at the top. So it does look a little funny in the end. It might not be too noticeable to you, but I definitely notice it whenever I was opening it up. But once you finish gluing them, you can see it makes this really cool, I don't know what to call it, kind of a, not a honeycomb, but some kind of wiggly design, and I really like it. So I'm using hot glue just to secure it because I thought it would be stronger and it would also work faster. So I glued it really well and made sure it was stuck. And this is where I'm noticing my mistakes. The pattern isn't quite right because all of a sudden it switches from red ones being at the top to zigzag ones being at the top. And it's okay though. I still like it. I still think it's pretty. As long as you hang it the right way on the tree, no one would notice. But as a little added decoration, I'm putting some beads here on the bottom. So I'm stringing this long string and I'm going to poke it up through the circle here with a pipe cleaner so I can make it through the top. And I also put a little bead at the very top of the ornament too, and just to add a little extra something to the top and bottom with the beads. But here is the finished product. I do still really like it. It is time consuming and it does take a lot of paper, but if you're somebody that just has plenty of time and you absolutely love working with scrapbook paper, this is a really neat ornament to give a try. And I also wanted to show you a picture of it here on my tree. If you liked any of these ornaments, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.